Morbidly Beautiful Network presents Brody Hubbard's Video of the Damned. Hey, it's Hub, still on social media at Brody Hubbard. This show is at Video Damned on X or Video of the Damned on Instagram. And did you know we have a sister show? I mean, it's just me. It's me interviewing guests. The Chamber, also on the Morbidly Beautiful Network. We recently had Josh Spiegel of Movie Timelines and the movie The Last Amityville Movie, which I really enjoyed. Now, granted, I'm biased because I like Josh. I like his YouTube channel. If you are an Amityville buff, if you are a found footage fan, if you like some silliness with your horror, there are really quite a number of boxes that this could check off for you. It takes place during a pandemic, not the pandemic, but Josh is left to his own devices when he receives a mysterious package that sets off a spooky chain of events, and the whole time he's still trying to make his show and talk to his horror fandom friends on Zoom. It's really quite funny, but also weird and unnerving enough to make it a bona fide horror movie. The Last Amityville Movie. I've also revived my podcast from 10 years ago, can you believe it? Shaky Town Radio, where me and Gene George talk about really whatever we want. Of course, me being who I am, there is going to be some emphasis on horror from time to time, and the most recent episodes are no exception. I felt like this version of Suspiria was what Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem would have been had Rob Zombie had all the money and time that he had wanted to make it. Because of those limitations, plus the restrictions he put on himself, saying, I'm going to shoot this movie the opposite of everything I would do otherwise. Like, he likes handheld, he likes, gritty. With this, he has these big, more like Kubrick-inspired shots and, camera setups. And it's beautiful, and I think Lords of Salem might be technically his best work, even if it's not the one that I have the most fun watching. He had the same influences that, literally that Luca did, because they're looking at Argento and Zulawski for this. Dakota Johnson, great performance. Mia Goth, mainly felt like a showcase for Tilda, but
Tilda Swinton is our generation's Peter Sellers now.
Yeah, exactly.
Move over, Mike Myers.
So that's Shaky Town Radio. Very easy to find on Apple Podcasts or on YouTube. Just put in the name Shaky Town Radio, Shakey. And let's get to some movie reviews. The Vourdalak is the writing and directorial feature debut of Adrian Bowe. It is based on Tolstoy's The Family of the Vourdalak, and you may be familiar with the story from Mario Bava's Black Sabbath. It was a segment of that anthology. Young Swiss actor Casey Maudet-Klein plays an emissary of the King of France. He is attacked in the countryside and finds refuge with a family. One of the daughters is played by Ariane Labed from Black Mirror, Flux Gourmet, and a couple Yorgos Lanthimos films. They are married. The family awaits the return of the patriarch, who has gone out to hunt the Turkish warlord that destroyed their village. And as you may remember from Bava or even the Tolstoy novella, which does predate Bram Stoker's Dracula, the patriarch warned for the family to make sure that it was really him when he comes back. And so begins part gothic tale, part comedy of manners. Despite Klein's Frenchman being a powdered and wigged fop, he is the audience surrogate here, dealing with this bizarre family and the even more bizarre circumstances that occur. It at first feels like a 1970s made historical fiction, very authentic with the costuming and pacing, shot in a fuzzy, dreamy Super 16mm, but things just start to skew way more peculiar and postmodern. I'm not going to even tell you about Vourdalak itself. Let's just say that there's some puppetry involved in creating the horrors. It's funny, tragic, beautiful, great release here by Oslope Laboratories, out in US theaters June 28th. Go see it. I probably don't need to tell you about Abigail, right? Like, everybody has probably already seen this. I just wanted to mention that I saw it and give it a positive review in case you hadn't seen it. It is by the Radio Silence dudes who made Ready or Not and Scream 5 and 6. And this actually has Melissa Barrera from Scream 5 and 6, as well as Caitlin Newton and the late Angus Cloud. Giancarlo Esposito is in here. Lots of great folks. But here's the thing. I'm going to make one complaint, and it's slightly spoilery. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then zip to the next review. I will just say that the ending, there is a character who shows up, and it's who you would expect to show up in a vampire film. Pretty much every vampire film, not every vampire film, but pretty much every vampire film has to have like the king of the vampires, you know his name, or some sort of kind of vague allusion to it probably being that king of vampires show up. And I was very underwhelmed by that reveal. Maybe it's because I didn't recognize the actor. Was I supposed to recognize the actor? I really don't know. That was literally the only thing that fell flat for me in this. I loved the gore. I loved the humor. I loved it being a heist movie that then turns into a vampire movie. And maybe that's even a twist for a lot of people. And you shouldn't be watching this review at all then. But pretty much the trailer tells you that. So I would say enjoy it. Just don't expect some wild twist ending or big cameo at the end. It's just a guy, a great actor, I'm sure, whose work maybe I would enjoy and I need to go see, but it's not like Nicolas Cage showing up or something like that. The allegory behind Larry Fessenden's new werewolf film, Blackout, is pretty simple to understand. Lycanthropy is standing in here for alcoholism, although there's some alcoholism too. You got some great actors, Barbara Crampton among them, James LaGrosse, but I don't want to get too much into who the cast is, because who the cast is actually, in one aspect, plays into the story in a kind of meta-narrative way. And this was something Phil Nobel Jr. from Fangoria pointed out, so I don't want to claim that idea as my own. It's just an observation that he made and that I agree with, and something that I noticed too when I got to enjoy the whole film, which you should go enjoy. I will, instead of talking about the cast, talk about the story. It's a small town guy who's looking to leave after his father passes away, but on the way out, he wants to take down the town bigwig who was friends with his father and who employed him, actually. But there's this lycanthropy, maybe, standing in the way. He's not sure if he's actually a werewolf or if he's having a delusion, but he definitely knows that something's going on. So that plays into some other politics in the small town, racial politics. It's actually a very deep story and a lot of emotional level that you wouldn't normally see, I think, from most werewolf movies, but you should definitely expect from Larry Fessenden, who's quite a maestro. So Blackout is available on VOD now. Go check it out. Raymond Wood directed Faceless After Dark. You may have heard that this stars and is co-written by Jenna Cannell, and also has a part played by Catherine Corcoran, and you may remember that they were both in the original Terrifier. You also may know that the premise is an actress whose claim to fame was a horror movie about a killer clown has to deal with a real-life manifestation of this problem. So yes, that's the premise, that's the pitch, but this movie, that would have been already pretty cool, right? But it's so much more than that. I would say turn off this video and just go see it, and don't listen to any of the comparisons I'm about to make if you want to go in totally dark to this, no pun intended. But yes, this movie, I would say, spoilers, has a lot of Taxi Driver and Promising Young Woman. 1995's The Last Supper. Jenna herself said that also maybe some King of Comedy and Joker. So if that gives you an idea of the turn it takes, I was pleasantly surprised, and I ended up enjoying this whole journey. Faceless After Dark, available now on demand. As always, want to thank Stephanie, the mother of Morbidly Beautiful. You can catch her and me and all the writers and reviewers and podcasts and good stuff on morbidlybeautiful.com or on the Morbidly Beautiful channel that you're watching this on now. And that's it for me for now. I hope to see you again soon. I remain Hub.